Organization and not having a plan is definitely something that seems to be repeating quite often in the coaching.
That's so important, I think, for your marketing and generating customers in the beginning. You don't need fancy software at the start necessarily, just a simple spreadsheet, but you're going to forget. You'll forget one of these people and then you'll realize, oh, I missed out on them because I didn't contact them for a month or whatever it is.
I love spreadsheets. That took me to the next level. You don't have to love it. If you can appreciate it, it'll make your life easier. I think people really need to see exactly the steps that we take in organizing. And I'll break it down. So, how many sessions in a week, how much money I generated daily, weekly, monthly, annually, and to have it all organized and be able to just click around and look at it and then compare this year to last year or this year to 5 years ago. You know how your business is doing. Just remember though, the ultimate here is, what's the ultimate message here? It's your money. And I love my money. I want to know everything there is to know about my money. So this is helpful.
Welcome to another episode brought to you by Imagine Strength, the future of safe, simple, and effective high-intensity training equipment. Are you a HIIT studio owner looking for equipment that's not just top-notch, but also tailored to your specific needs? Imagine Strength is your answer. Inspired by the legendary Arthur Jones, Imagine Strength is revolutionizing the HIIT industry with their state-of-the-art yet affordable equipment. Their team doesn't just sell HIIT equipment, they live and breathe it. I've personally experienced their gear at the Resistance Exercise Conference, and let me tell you, it was an intense workout that I won't soon forget, in the best way possible, of course. So why choose Imagine Strength? Number one, they provide customized solutions for HIIT studios. Number two, they have budget-friendly yet high-performance designs. And number three, they're committed to innovation and excellence in high-intensity training specifically. Founder Jeff Turner and his dedicated team are on a mission to make HIIT accessible to everyone. Getting started is easy. Number one, visit imaginestrength.com. Number two, consult with their expert team. And number three, choose the equipment that will skyrocket your business. Don't wait. Head over to imaginestrength.com and elevate your HIIT studio today with Imagine Strength. Lauren's still here, and welcome back to High Intensity Business, your one-stop shop for growing your HIIT business and fueling your passion for high-intensity training. This is episode 462, and today's topic is one of my favorites, time management. I know you all know I'm obsessed with all things productivity, and we're going to be talking about time management in relation to, Pete's lifestyle and business as things are currently, but obviously more focused on his approach to organization at the studio level when running a HIIT studio. Before we dive into today's episode, grab your free PDF guide on how to turn your HIIT business into a robust referral machine. You can download that now over at highintensitybusiness.com/ref. There'll also be a link wherever you're watching this. You'll also get a full-length video training with Discover Strength's Luke Carlson on how to build a referral machine, and get lots of free resources, including HIIT business guides, checklists, and much more. Again, go to highintensitybusiness.com/ref. Again, you can just click the link wherever you're watching this as well. Today's guest is Pete Cerqua. Pete is a master high-intensity fitness coach and creator of the 90-Second Fitness Solution. He has been professionally coaching since 1985 and is also a 5-time best-selling author for Simon & Schuster and Skyhorse Publishing, which include the books High Intensity Fitness Revolution for Women and High Intensity Fitness Revolution for Men. His coaching program shows personal trainers how to earn 7 figures per year. You can find out more over at highintensitybusiness.com/coaching-2. Probably need to change that URL at some point, but highintensitybusiness.com/coaching-2. You can actually register your interest and get a free coaching call with Pete. He's so generous with no obligation. Again, that will be in the description as well, wherever you're consuming this. So Pete, I'm super excited to talk to you today. Good to see you.
Good to see you. You want to get organized today, right?
Yeah, I'm passionate about this topic to a probably too much of an extreme degree. And I really notice it in people that are well organized, people that get back promptly to email, not in like like instantly, but just in an organized manner, and don't leave loose ends. And I also, just when I asked you how we're getting on in terms of recruiting people for coaching, you had this very well organized spreadsheet, and I was like, this is my guy, right? He's just so organized. And I think that leaves a lot of clues. I think that's testament to your success in business, in multiple businesses. I'm curious, before we get into things, like, where did you learn to be organized, and where did you learn time management? Have you always been this way? Is it something that you learned through your business journey when you were running the studio? Can you talk about that?
Well, it's definitely genetic. So it just that was my personality as a kid. I like to be organized, and if I wasn't organized, it created a stress for me. So having things lined up in a certain way just felt good. And then with the invention of personal computers, eh, how terrible does that sound? With the invention of personal computers, in the last 50 years. Um, Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel, having a spreadsheet. I love spreadsheets. So that took me to the next level. And I love my files and I love my organization. So you don't have to love it like I do, but if you can appreciate it, it'll make your life easier.
Yeah, yeah. Pete, let me know. I've got the light coming in the side here. Let me know if it's too intense on my head, and I'll
No, it
shut
looks
that
good.
blind.
Looks good.
Okay.
Good
All
lighting.
right. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that. It Yeah, interesting that you say it's genetic and that's just the way you're wired. What I've noticed with this kind of thing, and I guess other skills and attributes too, is if you do it naturally, or let's say you've learned to do it and you've become good at it, you can forget what it's like to be a beginner, and not have as much empathy for people that just don't have those skills. And obviously today we're specifically talking about time management, organization. And a good example would be like, which I think all of our colleagues can relate to, is when you get really into exercise and you start learning, reading all the books, reading all the studies, and going through your own experiences, you suddenly forget what it feels like to know nothing. So you assume people know, basics. They know that you need to strength train to build muscle, and that means more muscle generally means more health, generally speaking. But a lot of our target market, a lot of our potential clients don't actually know this stuff. So anyway, I think a lot of people can relate to that because you've had that experience where you're having those conversations and you're like, oh, you don't know this stuff. Let me educate you. So same goes for organization. And I was speaking to a member inside Hit Business Membership the other day, and he was telling me about all the success he's had following his coaching with you, and obviously he joins our masterminds every month, and all these leads he's working, all these people who are at different stages. Some are training, and he's looking to increase their frequency, or some are people who are complete uh, prospect level where he's trying to bring them in, and all sorts of different contexts and situations. And I'm like, I was gonna say the name, but I'll keep the name out of it. I was like, "Are you, organizing these into, like, a spreadsheet? Like, how are you keeping all this organized?" Because you should have, as we all should in our business, in my opinion, a process to follow all of these up. Whether that's, like, 30 minutes in your day where you're looking at that spreadsheet or simple Google sheet of all of your prospects and leads and just taking the next action. Okay, so and so gets back from holiday this day, follow up, and that's so important, I think, for your marketing and generating customers in the beginning. You don't need fancy software at the start necessarily, just a simple spreadsheet. But he was operating off the top of his head. He's like, well, I can, count them all on both hands. I said, you're going to forget. You'll forget one of these people, and then you'll realize, oh, I missed out on them because I didn't, contact them for a month or whatever it is. So then, anyway, so I know this is a long question, Pete, a long build up, but it occurred to me that the skill of having a sheet. So I said to the individual, I said, you just need to create a simple sheet to track all of this. And he was like, well, do you have a system in the membership? I was like, probably, but you don't need one. Like, all you need is like 4 columns, like name, contact details, status, right? And then the status just continues to get updated. And I just pasted that in our little private coaching thread, and hopefully that's been valuable. But it's stuff like that which I take for granted. So I use those types of systems all the time in my life, in my business. And I forget that it's kind of alien to a lot of people. So that's a long way of me saying that, again, we take for granted what we know and what we're genetically good at and what skills we have. So with all that said, tell me, going specifically talking about your studio, Well, maybe you can talk about you can talk about your perspective, how you did it at the studio in terms of your own time management and organization, but how you also coach people too. Do you see a lack of this? I certainly do. And if so, do you address it and how do you address it with people?
You know, you asked me a great question on one of our mastermind calls not 2 or 3 weeks ago. You said, "Hey, Pete, have you noticed any emerging patterns in your coaching?" I don't know if you remember the
I
question.
do. I
And
do.
at the time, I had to think about it, and I really didn't give you a solid answer, but I wrote it down, and I wanted to kind of go back through my notes and my coaching notes and stuff like that. And the answer is yes. An organization is definitely, and not having a plan is definitely something that seems to be repeating quite often in the coaching. Um, Getting back to a simple spreadsheet. You know what? I think people really need to see exactly the steps that we take in organizing, because what you and I might say, well, it's just a spreadsheet. It's not just a spreadsheet to somebody else. Somebody else may be like, well, I don't even know what's column A. And I'll break it down. So in my leads spreadsheet, and I title them by the year and the word leads. So 2024 leads. Okay, and that tells me uh, it, it gives me a way to organize them, and I have years of them. But what if I'm doing a consultation or I'm doing an interview with somebody, just to, just to get to know someone and see if our coaching, I have paper and pen, and I'm scribbling notes. And then after I'm done with the call, I go to my spreadsheet and I will have date, name, last name, first name, right? Because maybe I want to resort this file in by date or alphabetical order, and or look at different columns. Um, I will have their contact information, anything that's pertinent. These days, it could be just a cell phone number and email address. Um, I'll put things like what city and state and country they're in. Um, for time zone reasons. Okay. Important, just important stuff for me. Then from there, it could be my columns could say action one, action two, action three. Action one is completed the consultation. Um, Action two could be follow up in 3 weeks and put a date down, and then I can check off. Did I actually put that in my calendar, which is really important. You're not going to remember things. It could be one person or one lead, but the minute you get back to your regular schedule, you'll forget. You have to put everything down. It's just like having a really great schedule for your personal training business, which is another thing we go over in detail. The schedule is unbelievable. Like I can't tell you how seriously I sat down for how many days, literally. I sat down when I originally started hitting 60, 70, 80 sessions a week. I said, okay, I need a better system if I'm going to double this. And I had to sit down and do that. And I show people that. And I show people the actual papers that I have, uh, the paper schedule and the workout charts. Because now you have to keep another code. You can't do 100+ sessions in a week and not have it down to a couple of letters and numbers. I mean, it's got to be fast and really well organized. But the leads database, it's important. And then at the end of the year, just to scroll down and see what that bottom number is. Well, I had 115 new leads this year. That averages out to, uh, 2 per week. I love numbers. I always love numbers. That's one of the main attractions of this business for me is the numbers. I love the strength increases, the body fat decreases, the muscle mass. I love all the numbers. How many sessions in a week, how much money I generated, daily, weekly, monthly, annually. And to have it all organized and be able to just click around and look at it and then compare this year to last year or this year to 5 years ago, you know how your business is doing. Just remember though, the ultimate here is what's the ultimate message here? It's your money. And I love my money. So I want to know everything there is to know about my money. So this is helpful. How can I do better next year? I I think I need 150 leads next year if I'm going to fill up 2 trainer schedules and, you know, recultivate my garden. And it's just stuff like that. Information is power, right?
Yeah, you raise a really good point, important point, which is the tracking leads, for example. You can track other metrics, which you mentioned there, to give you some kind of predictability, right? To know, okay, well, if I've done that this year and these are the activities I've done, then if I do the same, if not more, this year, I can expect at least this much in terms of leads and plan accordingly. I think that's really underestimated how valuable that is. So take us back to when you were, maybe we'll look at, I mean, I just love learning about the details. So when you were really busy, probably at your max capacity at the studio, what did your diary look like in detail? So walk us through from like waking up in the morning, give us like the whole routine. Did you have like a morning routine? Did you like to walk us through the whole day in detail?
My day was a 15-hour day. I needed 7 hours of sleep. I lived 1 block away from my studio at one point. So like I had everything down to minutes and seconds, everything. And 15-minute blocks of time were my life. That was my sessions. That was my breaks. That was my food. That was my bathroom. That was my walk to the apartment. Uh, that was getting ready for the next day. How many of these 15-minute blocks did I need for any given hour? Um, I'll start with Sunday. Well, I'll start with Saturday afternoon. So Saturday afternoon was the end of my week. Um, and I would get ready for Monday morning, Saturday afternoon. So every day, at the end of every single day, work day, and I work 6 days or 5.5 days per week, I would end my day with billing. That was number one. And that was, I got to tell you, man, my absolute favorite time of the day. And if it doesn't like light you up, like I would sit there, okay, these are the charges I got to run right now. And then I would run the charges. I would check them off. Then I ran them. I would mark them as paid in their next appointment. I had a whole system for that. It would take 2 blocks, 2 15-minute blocks or 30 minutes in the evening or the end of my day to do that. Okay. So that's I would do that. Next up is billing is done. And the next morning I would log into my account, my my merchant account and my bank account, just to make sure everything cleared and went through and just to see that number. I mean, what a great way to start. It's like next to a cup of coffee, you got your coffee cup and you log on and you look at your bank account and boom, it cleared. There's all that money sitting. Great way to start. It's already a great day. Okay. So
As
after
long as
I
it's
would
going in
do,
the right direction, right? Which
oh,
by looking
oh,
at it, it will though, won't it? That's the whole point. What gets was it what gets managed gets measured, or what gets managed improves is another way of saying it. The famous Peter Drucker saying.
actually, my father had a line. He said, if you can't measure it, you can't manage it.
Right.
And I'm sure he got it
I would say
from,
he definitely got that from Drucker.
right. But that's the way he phrased it, which it was slightly different, but he would do that quite often.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
but I wanted to see it's a reward, it's instant gratification. The bank account logging in. I mean, that was just fantastic. So after my billing is charts for the next day. So it's Saturday afternoon. My billing is done. Now I'm going to take 15 minutes and I'm going to open up my schedule for Monday. And here's 20, 24, 20. Monday is going to be the busiest day of the week, right? Uh, here's my appointments. And now I'm going to go through and make sure that I have, the 6 a.m., 6:30, 6:45, right in a row workout charts. Now I have a clipboard, a really nice, big, solid $5 clipboard from Staples. It was stainless steel with a heavy clip on the top. And I had all my workout charts, which could be 100 workout charts, give or take 10, uh, on top. And they were in there and my schedule for the whole year. And I would have 2 week schedules on one sheet of paper. So 2 weeks on one sheet, and I would print out 26 of those. And they were dated on the top, of course, and across the top. And I would have it there underneath my workout charts, and I would have those clipped. with a paper clip or a little tiny, whatever, these things are called. So, um, and what happens, and the reason for that is so I can grab it quickly. So now I have my clipboard. Here's my workout charts, my 6 a.m. client Monday morning. And then I can flip right underneath and see 2 weeks of schedule at a glance. So client, 6 a.m. client comes Monday morning. I get up, I'm up at 5 a.m. I give myself an hour. I don't need an hour, and I don't like to be rushed, and I don't like to be pressured, and I don't like to be late. I'm going to be ahead of my schedule to make 24, potentially 28 sessions today go smoothly, right? So I got to be there first. 5 a.m. I'm up, shower, dress, which is, my clothes are laid out for the week. I'm wearing a different dress shirt every day. I probably have 20 or 24 dress shirts lined up in a row. So like I'm wearing a different one, different color every day. Black slacks are the same. I have 3, 4, 5, 6 pair of them and I rotate through. A few different pairs of dress shoes for comfort, right? So I know what I'm going to get. I know I'm going to wear the next day. It doesn't repeat. Like the clients won't see the same dress shirt for like 2 months, the way I have them rotated. So and you're not going to notice it anyway. So I know I have a warm up jacket over it. Get up, shower, get dressed. I'm out the door in 20, 25 minutes. I am literally a block away from the studio. I'm at the studio in 30 minutes.
Excuse me. Yeah. Okay.
So 5:30 a.m., I'm walking in the studio. I stopped at the deli for my cup of coffee. Got a monster cup of coffee at the deli. It's not a Starbucks. It's real diner coffee, which is in New York City is like, and now
Like
there's
black tar,
fresh
is it?
bagels.
Like,
Yeah. There's fresh bagels right next to it, but I can't touch those or I'll get fat and broke. But you can smell them for a minute. Take the coffee, 5:30. I'm sitting at my desk. I'm at the front desk and I break out my schedule and just review it real quick, 10 seconds, and I'm ready. Now I'm just waiting on the client to walk in and I'm ready for the day. And now I'm going to start hitting it. It could be 6, 6:15, 6:30. It could be 6, 6:30, 6:45. I never schedule more than 3 15-minute sessions in an hour. I always give myself a 15-minute buffer zone for this guy's late or Pete, I can't make the 6. Can you move me to 6:45? Sure, no problem. My schedule is always written in pencil because there is always erasing. And you don't want to be doing this in pen and you don't want to be typing it out because that's not going to work either. So it was pencil and a really good quality paper that I got at the print shop. By the way, just as another detail, my schedule and my workout charts were printed on a very light gray paper. It was a very off-white paper. A white paper and pencil and erasing gets really messy after a while, but this more durable paper looked a lot cleaner. The other tip I want to give everybody is even though my 2 weeks of schedule was right underneath my workout charts, when I'm scheduling with you, I'm facing you. And I'll say, okay, Lawrence, great workout today. When do you want to come in next? How's Thursday, Pete? Flip up. I already have you written in for Thursday because those are probably your days, right? I'm like, yep, I got you in. You're all set. I do not let you see my schedule ever. Okay. And let me tell you why. First of all, I don't want you to know about my money and my business in detail. You could know that there was a client before you and a client after you. And that's all you should know. If I have no schedule, right? I've seen trainers do this. I saw a trainer once go like this, flip up to his schedule, turn around and show it to the client and say, I got all this availability. What do you want? Well, that makes you look like a loser. That the expression, fake it until you make it, right?
yeah.
Schedule people as tightly as you can in the beginning so you at least look busy. If you got 3 clients that day, try to get them back to back. So there's a little bit of an energy and a momentum going. And you can build on that and you will get better referrals that way. If they look at your schedule and it's empty, you're like, well, maybe I should ask this guy for a discount or something because clearly he's not booked, right? He's not going to make it. So you don't want to be judged that way. The opposite. My schedule is packed. I mean, I've in a 2 week schedule. There are literally 240 appointments on one sheet of paper, give or take 10. Okay. I don't want them seeing that. You know why? I don't want them doing the math. Holy cow. You know what? I knew he was busy, but I figured he was making this, and that didn't bother me. You're like, oh, my trainer's successful. And they kind of left it at that. Kind of like my 90-second sets. They won't do the math. But if they saw a packed schedule like that, they will actually go home, break out a calculator and start, I'm paying him too much. Like, oh my God, he's making that. He's
Would they
making more.
know? Would they know, or would they see he's so busy, he's so in demand? Of course, I'm paying him that.
I want them to see I'm busy and in demand by my waiting room. I don't want them to see numbers on paper, numbers and names on paper. And on top of that, I don't want anybody to see anybody else's name for privacy reasons. What if there's a celebrity? Oh, is he coming in? Can I come in right after? No, because you're going to ask for an autograph or a picture or something stupid, and they ask for privacy. So the answer is no, just the fact that you asked them.
Yeah.
So there's lots of reasons, but I don't want people doing the math. You imagine somebody going to medical school and having $500,000 in student loans and making about $500,000 a year as a doctor and finding out that I'm making 7 figures a year and
Yeah, I guess so.
and don't have $500,000 in student loans
Yeah.
right away. Now, in all fairness, doc, you don't pay the hospital electric bill, right? You have
Right.
a desk there, which they don't do that. But right away, they're judging and they're a little upset with that. I worked my ass off to be a surgeon and you're making 7 figures a year. Like, that's a problem. I just don't want any of those problems. So I avoided it completely. You don't see my schedule either way.
Yeah.
My schedule is organized for a minimum of 28 appointments. My personal schedule had 15-minute slots. But up until I converted to 15 minutes, which I don't encourage anybody to do unless you need to do it. The 30-minute slots, I would have 28 of them in a day. I was kind of looking to put 20 to 24 in there, which means I have 4 to 6 open spots. Great. I love them. They are for bathroom breaks. I cut another cup of coffee. I can run down to the deli and get a cup of coffee. In 30 minutes, you could do a lot, right? Sit down for 5 minutes and check your email, text your partner, check on your kids. Like, there's so much you could do.
Go
with
for
30
a
minutes.
walk in nature, a
Yeah.
walk in a park.
We actually we were in a Manhattan office building. I was one of the very few people in the building to have an outdoor deck.
Oh, lovely.
I go out on the deck on a sunny day with my coffee. We had table and chairs out there and you could see down 55th Street and it was really cool. I sit out there for 5 minutes and with the plants and have a sip of coffee. 30-minute breaks are great.
Yeah.
And if somebody canceled, you got another one and got paid for it. That was the ultimate. Love that.
That's so funny. It's just so counterintuitive because another viewpoint is, oh, I'm sad that person didn't come in for their medicine, their great training session. But you're like, no, I've got extra time to chill out.
It was an extra break. If I can get 4, 6, 8 of those in a day, it just made it so much easier. And then if there was the screw ups, and there's always 2 or 3 a day in my 20 to 30 appointment schedule with Pete, I got called into a meeting at 5 p.m. Can you bump me out somewhere? And the answer is always yes. I always want to say yes. So yeah, I got something at 6 to 6:15. Will that work for you? Can you be here at 5:55? Yes, thank you. And I just erase and move it. It's not a canceled. It's not, I switch it. Okay. Can I be a jerk about it and say, no, 5 o'clock, you're not making it. You're charged. How's tomorrow? And try to book the, yeah, I could do that. And I have done that when people need to be reeled in. But for the most part, I want to be yes. I want it to always be yes. I got you. Everything's fine. Slow down. It's a 15-minute session. I have 9 minutes worth of exercise scheduled for you. Take your time. We got all the time in the world to get this in. I am scheduled to the second at that point, and it's easy. It's not a lot of pressure if you're organized. If you're not organized, it's a nightmare, and
Yeah.
you can't do it. And I've worked with trainers with this, Lawrence. The guy who's like, I started getting too many appointments. First of all, hey, slow down, pal. There is no such thing as too many appointments or too much money. And if you think there is, you need therapy, and we're not on the same page. But I
Not the
hear
coach
you.
said.
You're getting a little overwhelmed, which means you're not organized and you're not prepared for somebody walking in 10 minutes late for a 15-minute session, right? You don't have it down and you don't have the confidence. What would I do? Somebody walks in, I've got 5 p.m. and 5:15 p.m. scheduled. My 5:15 walked in the door at 5 o'clock and sat down. They're 15 minutes ahead. My 5 o'clock appointment texted me and said, I'm running 15 minutes late. No problem. I'll take you at 5:15. Hey, Bob, mind if I take you first? 5:15 is running late. I'm just going to switch you out. You're here. Have you sat for a minute? You have water. I don't want to rush it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I won't rush them. I'll actually walk them in and make a little conversation for 2 or 3 minutes, which is a long time, and sit them down and get them warmed up. And then we'll hit it 9 minutes worth of workout. And I'm still done 1 or 2 minutes before the 5:15 guy came in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then he thanked the client. Then I switched to before him. And now we're all way ahead of schedule and everything is fine. Everything worked out well. Or I bump that guy out to 5:45, where I always keep a spare spot.
Yeah.
So that's easy if you're organized, easy, and it's slow and it's relaxed. And anytime you walked in for a session with me, I don't care if you were late or if you were early, the vibe you got from me is you got all the time in the world. Have a seat. How you doing? What's going on with you? My job was to get your stress level to come down. I wanted you to be happy to see me. I did not want to create another stress for you. If I'm just one more stress in your schedule, I'm really getting paid a lot of money to just be another stress in your life. So eventually you start deleting stresses in your life. Well, I can't get rid of the kids. I got to keep those until at least 18, right? Train them. I'm paying this guy a fortune. Get rid of him and save money. And I can go to the gym when I get to the gym and it won't be a stress, which we all know isn't going to work out. So I need to up my customer service level. But yeah, let's go back to this again, Lawrence. You have to be organized if you want to be successful. If you want to have 10 sessions a week, you don't need any organization at all. Wing it.
Today's episode is sponsored by Imagine Strength, the game changer in safe, simple, and effective high-intensity training machines. When it comes to HIIT, Imagine Strength is your go-to for intelligently designed, efficient, and affordable equipment. Their team is passionate about HIIT, and it shows in every piece they craft. So why are Imagine Strength the right choice? Number one, they tailor-make their equipment for HIIT studios. Number two, they provide cost-effective solutions for your business. And number three, they are committed to ongoing innovation and refinement. Ready to take your HIIT business to the next level? Visit imaginestrength.com to discuss your needs and find the perfect gear for your studio. Join the HIIT revolution of Imagine Strength and transform your workout experience today. You raised some great talents and some really useful tips in there that you shared. I appreciate that. Couple questions for you. Firstly, just to reinforce, you talked there about how you don't recommend 15-minute sessions. That was obviously when you were at full kilt. You recommend 30 minutes with the workout, only taking a portion of that. And you cover that in depth in another podcast we did, which came out recently about session length, and we'll link that up in the show notes. Just a couple of questions about what you said. In terms of the clipboard, you're always a fan of high quality, right? Like high quality tools, whether it's a stool for the MedX pull down, or it's I don't know. Do you have did you have a fancy pen as well? Would you be even thoughtful about things like that?
I had mechanical pencils.
Oh yeah,
uh,
pencils, wasn't it?
you could
Yeah.
twist for the lead, but I did try to buy like a $4 one versus a 99-cent one. I wanted something that was reliable and always had a box of them. One
So
failed, you but get another one.
yeah, that's important, I think. I don't know whether this is just a weird idiosyncrasy that you and I have, but when you spend a little bit more on your tools, you get more excited about using them. Like I buy these pens, they're just Pilot G2 pens and rollable uh, kind of fine ink pens. And here he goes, same one. Oh no, oh no, that's the same pen. That is hilarious. It's exactly the same, isn't it? Oh, it's so
It is.
funny. But they're so we are. Look, we're bold and the same at everything else. Um, it's it's caught me off guard now, but it makes writing a pleasure, you know. And I literally just spent 20 sterling, £20, what's that, $25 on a notepad. Cal Newport's brought out his new time block planner notepad, and I just impulsively thought, I want, because I'm running out of notepads and I'm using any notepad that I can find around my office. And if they're low quality, I just don't care as much. And I think when you have nice tools, oh, look at that. Look at that. He's got a whole stash of legal pads. Beautiful. When you have nice tools, you just take more care. You produce better quality work, and that means better quality thinking. I just think there's something to that. And I like what you said there about the high quality clipboard of a nice big metal clip on it. Um, how do you feel about people that might say that's antiquated? Oh, Pete, these days you should have a tablet. Some of our colleagues will have tablets and they use software or Google Sheets. I know there's some problems with that. It can be, depending on the software, and maybe Strength Portal are the closest to really making this as frictionless as possible. It can be difficult to modify things on the fly, which you always have to do with client workouts. So, what's your take on, you know, people saying that's old? Clients are going to walk in and see that using a clipboard and paper and be like, "Pete, we're in a 21st century here. What's going on?" Versus using software as a up to date method.
It's a big question about. I would say 90% of the people I coach, when we get to that point where I talk to them about schedule and workout charts and my method to do it, they right away with, what about subscriptions and what about, pushing a button and what about software and what about, and I say, well, okay, so I'm making 7 figures a year and you're making nothing. Maybe you want to consider my method. So if I could do 120 to 150 sessions in a week myself at the rate that I charge, maybe you want to look at my idea. Okay. That stacks up to major franchises with multiple locations, those numbers. So now there's a very specific business model. We're talking about a studio, a one-off studio. Um, we're not talking about a franchise model that needs to have subscriptions and push buttons and machines, because that's what they've invested in and that's what they've built. We don't compare one to the other. They are not related whatsoever. So yeah, I get in somebody's face right away and really have to straighten them out. I'm like, you hired me because you have 0 sessions. But but since you're not making any money, you don't have any sessions. You really want this as simple as possible with pushing a button, right? I don't get it. And you have to pay some sort of fee for this kind of nonsense, right? My paper and pencil was pennies and it works. And then here's the best point. Somebody walks in, because this is what you just brought up, Lawrence. Somebody walks in and sees me with my antiquated thing. You know what my antiquated thing registers in their mind? Customer service.
How so?
I'm writing. I'm taking notes. I've got a workout chart. I'm doing something for my money. Okay. As opposed to, you know, we've got franchises out there now where you literally, you can be an idiot. You don't need to be a trainer. You can be an idiot. All right. And the idiot takes the client, sits them in a machine and presses a button. And the machine has all the feedback and this and that and the other thing and does the exercise for you
Right.
and the range of motion, blah, blah, right? You need a $12 an hour technician. That's not training anymore. Personal training has to have customer service. All these little tiny things that I do just shows my client that I'm working for the money. I am part of the set. We are going to do negative only today, which means I have to help you lift the weight and you're going to lower it. And then I'm going to record it on your chart and I'm going to write it down. This is this is how I get referrals. Like, oh my God, the Pete, I've been working out with this guy, Pete. I think he wants me to get in shape more than I want to get in shape. Like there's that enthusiasm. It comes out in the set and the protocols and the chart keeping and the schedule. All these little things add up to he's doing something for his money. How would you like to go to a barber shop? And I know you and I don't go to barber shops anymore.
Well, for
How
my
would you
beard,
like
I
to,
do now, Pete. For the beard.
excellent,
Yep.
excellent. You're
Was
supporting
it
the local economy.
wonderful experience. Yeah, go ahead.
So you sit in a barber chair and you say, beard trim today. And the barber goes, okay, and presses a button and a machine comes down over your head and trims the beard. And he's just sitting there. And then he hands he's like, you don't have to pay me. I already charged your card. We scanned it while it was in your pocket. That's not right. You sit down in a chair. The barber who's been doing this for 20 years drapes you with the cloth gown, whatever it is, and puts the paper around your neck. And sir, he doesn't want to know your name, but he wants to know that he knows who you are, which you like, right? Uh, Same thing today, little beard trim. Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. And now it's your 15 minutes to just zone out while this person takes care of you. And with scissors, gives you a really nice trim. And you tip better for that because he didn't verbal vomit you. He didn't tell you his life story. His fingers were working. He gave you an excellent service all the way around. And then you how much is that? $12. And you give them a 20 and say, keep the change. That's customer service. I follow that model every step of the way. I believe in that. Even when I'm doing 120 sessions a week, I mean, more so, you got to give them something back. They want customer service. Push a button and you become all automated. I love that when people tell me, well, I'm trying to go towards an automated model. I'm like, well, you're also trying to go to a negative numbers model. Like you're not built for this, man. And it comes under my other coaching thing, which is a little off the topic of organization, but don't try to look bigger than you are. With your name, let's start with your name. Super high intensity workout, international hypertrophy. You got this really awesome name. And then the client hears about the name and goes to your website, which is massive, right? Definitely spent thousands of dollars on this. And it gives the impression that you've got like 400 locations and 6,000 employees. Then they walk into a 400 square foot room, see one guy and 6 pieces of equipment. It's okay. So I thought I was going to see 40 trainers scrambling around, and don't give that false impression that you're big. You know, Lawrence Neal's strength, that really summed it up. Oh, by the way, I'm getting great customer service from Lawrence Neal. Now they're putting together a better story for their referrals.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Like great tips. Yeah. I
It
love it,
comes
Pete.
down to the organization though, Lawrence. Got to be organized.
Yeah. Yeah. Back to the point of the podcast. Let's see where we're at in terms of times. Okay. So let me just see. I'm gonna see if there's anything else I really want to cover. Where did you okay, so you gave a really good insight there as to like the morning routine, just quite basic, but I love it. And just the way you manage your time in terms of the sessions, and you kind of explore some of the nuances of that, like if someone cancels or is late, etc. What about like when you were doing any sort of sales and marketing, right? I mean, I know obviously the way you and I love this, and I think this is one of the reasons why Luke loves your stuff so much. Luke Carlson, if those don't know, is CEO and founder of Discover Strength. Um, is your massive focus on the customer, on customer service, on delivering great sessions, on the workout protocol, which is all the forgotten marketing components, right? And I know that your model was very much like, based on most doing that well, you generate referrals. Although I do know you had a few things in there, like the referral program. But would you make time, especially in the beginning when you weren't packed out, right, to actually do marketing, to do sales, obviously you were doing sales appointments. Were you just slotting them in the schedule like you would sessions, or was there slightly longer for those? Were you scheduling blocks of time to do marketing? Can you speak on that for us?
So my basic model was a 30-minute time block back then, of course. And I didn't go to 15 minutes until the last minute. As a matter of fact, if you forget about the 15 minutes, that would be better for all of us. 30-minute time spots are key. I would put a consultation in, a free consultation, which is where I'm going to show them one exercise only. I have a whole consultation routine. I want to come in. I want to talk to them for a few minutes. Here's something that's antiquated, Lawrence. Client comes in and I'm meeting them for the first time. I have a legal pad, right, on top of my workout charts and schedule. I just stick it right in there. I have their name across the top and probably their contact information, handwritten. Now I'm using a pen, okay, because there's not going to be any erasing. And hey, here I sit them on the MedX pull down, and let's talk for 2 minutes, okay? Um, so any aches or pains I should know about, any medical conditions, anything that that you think you should fill me in on, and they'll tell me. Everybody has something, right? And I write in my antiquated way. They love that. I'm taking notes. You want to know what they don't love and what you don't love? Have you ever gone to a doctor's appointment and you sit in the waiting room and you fill out 14 pages of stuff, right? And then you submit it, you give it to the nurse and she brings you to and the doctor walks in, sits down and says, "So what's the problem today?" And you're like, "I just filled out 14
Yeah.
pages of like, did you read it? No, tell me." But it's on file, which by the way, they never review again ever. Now this way I'm taking paper and pen and I'm talking to you, right? Not about you, not beside you, to you. We're having a conversation. I'm thoughtful. They see it and I'm writing it down. And sometimes if they're telling me something too fast, oh, slow down there. So tell me about that again. I got to get that down. That's customer service at its best. Now in that 30-minute slot, I show them I demonstrate one exercise only. I have a special way of doing that. I give them some information. I ask them if they have any questions for me, and they are out the door. They are not rushed. It's thorough. There's no verbal vomit. And in my schedule, it says Lawrence Neal consultation. Usually I put a C in there and circle it. Okay. Just got to have a talk. My consultation probably saw that I was just finishing up with somebody when they came in, and chances are that there's somebody now waiting. Thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate it. I'm going to follow up with you in 24 hours if that's okay with you. Oh, that'd be great. Excellent. Well, have a sip of water, or if you need to sit for a few minutes, and I'm going to start my next session. Hey, Bob, how you doing? Come on in. Now 9 out of 10 times, if you do this, if you offer this level of customer service, the next client coming in is going to see that it was a consultation, and they're going to do something like this. They're going to lean over to the new potential person and say, "He's really great. I mean, I hate him, but he's really great." And they walk in, and they sell it for me. They just they practically close the deal for me. So, but you got to be organized, and that's in my schedule. 30-minute time spots. What you write in there, my consultations are going to be well within the 30-minute time spots. I've seen trainers do 90-minute consultations. I wanted to shoot them. They make no money at this, by the way, because if anything, their reputation is, like nobody wants to talk about them. Imagine if you told your best friend, "Hey, Lawrence, you look pretty good. What are you doing?" And now you're thinking, you don't want to say, "Well, I've been working out." Well, with who? "I've been working out with this guy named Jim." Uh, and you're thinking, well, this guy will talk for 90 minutes to 2 hours. I don't want to send my friend in there because if he sits down and he's trapped for 2 hours, he'll come back and kill me. So now you're trying to figure out how to get out of the referral.
I see.
Well, I just been going to the gym and working out. And I read it in a magazine somewhere. It's terrible, right? But I'm working out with this guy named Pete, and really fascinating. He showed me one exercise and I only had to do it one time, one repetition, and I got it. That's a conversation piece. That sells. I make
Interesting.
money off of that. But you still have to be organized, right? You have to have an organized plan when they come in.
A process, yeah. Couple of things, one underscore that you said. I totally agree with your point about taking notes. It's like one of my pet peeves. If I don't know, working with someone, having a meeting with someone, like a face-to-face meeting, and I'm running through some things. I want to teach them some things and they're not taking notes. I just can't stand that because I'm like, you're just not serious. You're not organized. You're not taking it in.
Well, what does it
And
say? Tell me,
I said, they don't
what does it
care.
say?
They don't care.
Right.
Yeah.
If I'm not writing
Yeah.
anything down and I'm standing there like this and I have the glazed look in my eye,
Yeah.
you realize that this guy's not absorbing it. I'm telling you about my osteoporosis. There's nothing that sells the set. You don't need, you could be the worst trainer in the world. All you have to do is osteoporosis. By the way, when were you diagnosed with that? That's
Yeah.
like, you want to talk about a home run. Okay. There's one of the people that you all probably adore, and I don't, is Tony Robbins. I saw him speak live once at an event that I was speaking at too. And, I thought he was awful.
Just drop
I
that in
didn't-
there.
I'm not gonna get into it, but he said one thing that that was worth it for me. And this is all of his books and all of his lectures and all of his nonsense. One thing I took from this guy, he said, successful people ask better questions. And I wrote that down. And I wrote that down and I looked at that and I thought about it. I said, so here's an example. So any medical conditions I should know about? Yeah, I have osteoporosis. Let me write that down. Write it down. So when were you diagnosed with that? What a thoughtful question, right? Not how do you feel, right? That's a stupid question. When will you die? And what are you getting treatment? Or what are you doing? Oh, I'm taking the Fosamax. Okay, you write that down. Thoughtfulness. And they're selling themselves. I'm going to work with this guy. I'm going to work. You know why? Because my husband didn't even ask me when I got diagnosed with this. And I told him 15 times. This guy asked,
Yeah.
are you really are you worried about that? Are you worried about breaking a bone? It's a thoughtful question. And Tony was right about this one thing. This is my big takeaway from Tony Robbins. Successful people ask better questions. I will ask a better question than you will, and I will get the client.
Like the fact that you're asking questions as the first place is a good step forward because I think a lot of people make the mistake of talking too much and not asking any questions. I love what you
Writing
said
it
there. I
down.
think, yeah, I think taking notes, like if someone takes notes in a meeting or whatever, it's a strong predictor that they're going to be, more successful, get the job done. Especially, I would notice that we would have actions and the actions would be written down that we agreed on. And that, yeah, stuff like that just drives me mad. Um, the other thing as well is in your coaching, you've had people not take notes, and you're like, "What's going on?" Like, it was had a strong correlation with like the level of results they'd get. Are they actually taking notes and taking action on what you've said? Um, which is just related to what we're saying. So I thought it was good to bring up. I'm just curious, do you have records of your old charts that you could share? You do?
I
And
do.
maybe black out the names or whatever. I'd love that. Like, could you send me some photos of your charts and how you
I
like
can.
actually structured it all? And we could put it in the blog post, perhaps?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I do that with my coaching. Usually after a session, there's usually some things that I send to
Yep.
my client that they can now reprint or retool it for themselves. So
Right.
customize it. But yeah, it still works today. This
Absolutely.
is stuff that I invented for myself, organized for myself 25 years ago, and it
Yeah.
still holds up. And I have not seen a better method. Another
And
thing is, you
go ahead.
pointed out is, I really like to know, I like to know if my client's paying attention or not, right? So if I see them not taking notes or not asking for a recording or not asking for homework or something like that, you know, it's telling me how they got into the hole in the first place.
Yeah.
Well, business is really terrible. I can't get to 20 sessions. Well, I'm starting to see, and I bring it up. In the next session, I'll say, listen, you know, you didn't take notes in the last session. You didn't ask for a recording. You didn't, and you just kind of sat there and listened. How much of that did you absorb? Review it with me and I'll put them on the spot. I'm like, look, you're paying me a lot of money. If you don't get something out of this, it doesn't do either one of us any good. You're
Yeah.
still going to be struggling and I will not get a referral. Now, as a gentleman that I am working with, I won't give you details, but I'll tell you this. He is fast approaching triple digits, baby. He's going to break 100 sessions in a week. And when I watch him, when we're working together, I see his eyes are like this the whole time because he's writing furiously. And I tell him, hey, listen, I can record this for you. He goes, no. And this is his words. And I love it because I feel the same way. No, I like to write. When I write it down, I absorb it faster.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm the same way. I have to scribble it. It doesn't even have to be legible, but then I commit it to memory versus me. I personally won't go back and review a video. I need to
Yeah,
do
I'd be
this.
the same. And also like it's just a little tip. I typically will schedule now like 5 or 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes after calls, after things to actually process the information, to do something with it. Otherwise, it can get overwhelming. You start building up all these notes and you don't do anything with it, and you might, miss something important. Um, yeah, oh man, I had a point there I was going to raise. Yeah, that's it. I was going to kind of say, I think your coaching is not for everyone because I think there's a lot of people just aren't ready to kind of have someone tell them exactly like it is. I mean, we've had that experience where people are afraid and they don't want to be told that they're doing something wrong. And I think I don't know whether it's common in the fitness industry in general or in business in general, but it certainly seems to be very common in high intensity training. It's like, look, if you want to take your business to the next level, you've got to be prepared to be wrong and to have someone rip your whole business apart because that's the
Yeah.
only way you're going to grow. And I've always loved that about your style. I mean, obviously, I do a bit of coaching, and I'm different to you. And I wouldn't say I have that same confidence you have. Clearly, you far more success than I have on a studio level. But you're just so you're no holds barred. You just tell it like it is. But at the same time, you're respectful. You're empathetic. I always say to people, like, you've got this. I'm gonna sound like a proper sales pitch now, but I can't help myself. It's like you got this rare combination of like niche specific expertise and hit business. Tell me who else has that that's doing what we're doing or what you're doing. But also you have this great coaching ability, this ability to connect with people. You're very personable, but then you've also got this like, I'm not going to hold back and tell you exactly like it is. And frankly, that's not for everyone. So, certain percentage need not apply if they're not ready to have some real talk to get to the next level is what I'm seeing sometimes. Is that fair
I
to say?
love doing the consultations. The consultations are gold for me because it's not for everybody. And if
Okay.
I spend an hour, you really can learn a lot about each other. They're learning about me, and they're sitting there and saying, "Is Pete's style going to be good for me? Is it going to get me to the next level? And do I want it?
And also,
And I'm
if
going to be
if
something
your
that's going to
style, and I'm not saying like obviously there's some people that, sorry to cut you off, that your style's not going to be right for, and they're still going to succeed regardless, and that's okay.
yeah,
We're not all meant to get along. We're not all meant to the same style of doing business, and have to follow the same path, so to speak. So sorry, I just want to make that clear. But go ahead if I didn't complete that sentence
it's
for you.
that's it. I'm not for everybody, and everybody's not for me. I mean, I've done consultations. Now, sometimes there was one consultation that I did with the lady. I think we were on the phone for 90 minutes, and it was great. We were talking about everything, and it was just really, it was a great conversation. And we learned a lot about each other, and I think we connected on many levels. And obviously, you're not going to stay on a call that long, either party, because I always give them the option of, do you have a hard stop? When do you have to get off by? I kind of qualify that up front to give them the out if they want to get off the
Yeah.
phone quickly. It's not for them. But yet we talked and we connected, and it was great. And I think we learned a lot from each other. And then I was on a consultation with a gentleman recently. It was 10 minutes. And I don't think it was the second sentence. And I knew I didn't want to coach him and he didn't want my coaching, and
Yep.
there was no connection right there. So he's severing that baby quick. There's no reason to be on the phone any longer. Let's be adults about this. So no, it's not for everybody. But for the people who I do connect with and who think they can benefit from it, they make a lot of money. This guy that's about to hit 100 sessions in a week, he'll be the first guy that I'm coaching to break triple digits like that. It's a lot of money. I mean, what's the minimum I won't tell you what he's charging, but you know what the range is for a session, right? Sessions I've seen them as low as $39 and as much as, much as like $79, right? More, $87
Even
on a
more.
month.
Yeah.
So take the average of that number and then multiply it by 100. It's a lot of money. It's $250,000 a year and it's doubling his income. And he's like, but he's an action taker. Like when I say, when we're discussing, I never order. I never say you should. I never use those words. You should do this. You should listen. I know I don't do any of that nonsense. I recommend. Here's something that worked for me. I think it could work for you. Let's go over it. That's the way I approach it. Okay.
Yeah.
Even though I'm a bit of a hard ass. This guy, we're not off the Zoom call. He's already like made phone calls and this one thing we were having a conversation and on our next coaching call, hey, I ordered all that equipment you told me about. All of it? Holy cow, you spent some money. Yeah, it'll be in soon. And I said, and I want to give you a free session or two, as many as you need to go over that equipment with you. Like he inspired me. So it's not about the money for the coaching for me at all. And you know that. But I want somebody who wants to go to the next level and absorb it. So it's big.
Yeah, fair enough. No, I like that you do that. I think it's like you're rewarding someone who's taking action, right? And that makes a lot of sense. So Pete, I think we should wrap this one up. I think this was really good. There's probably a few other points, but we should keep it relatively compact. Pete, so best way for people to find out more about you, obviously Pete Cerqua on Facebook. That's Cerqua. It's the last name. And obviously, if they want to learn more about the coaching that we've talked about, it's highintensitybusiness.com/coaching-2 will take you to the landing page with a lot more information, testimonials, and then you can book a free coaching call with Pete there as well. And before we wrap up, finally, don't forget to grab your free PDF, How to Turn Your Hit Business into a Robust Referral Machine, highintensitybusiness.com/ref. That's Romeo Echo Foxtrot, REF. You'll also get a full-length video training with Luke Carlson on how to build a referral machine as well. highintensitybusiness.com/ref. Pete, thank you so much for your time. It was great to see you. I'm not feeling 100% healthy today due to two sick kids all week long. But I had the shot for this today and you did most of the talking, which I appreciate. And for everyone listening, go and check out episode 462 on the blog for all the show notes. And until next time, thank you very much for listening.
Let's go.
Hey, it's Lawrence again. Before you go, I have something special for those looking to accelerate their hit business. Would you like to know how to generate a flood of leads for free? Download our exclusive Build a Referral Machine playbook. It's a concise guide packed with proven strategies from Luke Carlson, CEO of Discover Strength, a fast-growing hit franchise. Clients in our Hit Business membership using these referral tactics have added 20 to 40 new clients, transforming their businesses dramatically. In this playbook, you'll uncover 4 dynamic referral tactics that you can implement right now to drive leads. Plus, when you download the guide, you'll gain access to invaluable resources to expand your business, like ready-to-use sales presentations, a guide for attracting top-notch trainers, a checklist for nailing your sales process, and so much more. And there's a bonus. Subscribe today to ensure you don't miss out on exclusive opportunities like live group calls with hit experts. Plus, you have the chance to contribute questions for our interactive Q&A blog posts and podcasts, where we directly address your queries with industry experts. These special events are scheduled periodically, and as a subscriber, you'll be the first to know when they happen. Just visit highintensitybusiness.com/ref, that's REF, short for referrals, highintensitybusiness.com/ref, or click the link available where you're watching or listening to this. Drop in your email and you'll get instant access to all these resources today.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
This episode is brought to you by Imagine Strength, your go-to for safe, simple, and effective high-intensity training equipment. Growing a successful high-intensity training business requires workout equipment that's not only high quality, but also intelligently designed to fit the unique needs of your studio. And that's where Imagine Strength comes in. Drawing on the wisdom of the legendary Arthur Jones, Imagine Strength has crafted a groundbreaking line of fitness equipment that's as affordable as it is efficient, giving your studio the upgrade it needs without breaking the bank. The team at Imagine Strength breathes HIIT. Their passion for high-intensity training shines through in their designs, which they've consistently refined and innovated for optimum effectiveness and user experience. From my personal experience at Rec, I can attest to the careful consideration and craftsmanship that goes into every single piece. My Imagine Strength workout was absolutely brutal, in a good way, of course. Now, what makes Imagine Strength truly stand out? They have innovative equipment tailored for the unique needs of HIIT studios, affordable and efficient designs, lowering the barriers to entry for a HIIT business, continuous innovation and refinement ensuring your studio stays ahead of the curve. Founder Jeff Turner and his team are dedicated to moving the HIIT industry forward and making strength training accessible to more people than ever before. Here's how you get started. Number 1, visit imaginestrength.com. Number 2, discuss your specific needs with the team. And number 3, select the equipment that will propel your business to the next level. Head to imaginestrength.com today and give your HIIT business the Imagine Strength edge. Be part of the HIIT revolution and see firsthand how their unique equipment can transform your studio's workout experience. Elevate your HIIT business with Imagine Strength.
Let's go.